Hi everyone, welcome to Talkin' Horses. I'm Eileen Shanahan. Joining me today from Islip Terrace, New York is natural horseman Tony Simonetti. Tony, welcome to the show.
Thank you, and it's always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, always good to have you. Weather is absolutely gorgeous after a long, hot, brutal summer. Autumn is finally here. Now, you've told me in the past that this is the busiest time that you have for training horses.
Yep. This time of year, my phone starts to ring because even the best and most well-trained trail horses and schooling horses start to become a little bit more antsy, a little more jumpy. They become heightened in their instincts.
Well, let me ask you about that, because I understand, you know, we did a spring tune-up show with you, and I understand winter to spring, cabin fever and all that. But we've been riding all summer. You would think our horses are physically in condition, mentally healthy. Why such a change going from the summer to the fall?
Well, I tell you, I tried researching this, and even just by my own observation, and this is the type of thing there's no actual science to, because there's no way to prove it really. However, once again, if we look to Mother Nature, you do get your answers, and if you look at just how prey animals and predators survive out in the wild and what goes on naturally, you'll see that things do change from the warmer season into the colder season. And they change for both predators and prey animals, but what we're talking about today is the prey animal, horse, okay? And horses in the wild, at the time that the weather changes, they know there's two actual things that, in my opinion, take place. And they're actually two of the motivators. When you talk about what motivates a horse, there are three of those. Two of them are comfort and safety. When the winter months hit, food, possibly in the area that the horse is in, becomes more scarce. So they have to migrate to find a better food source. Okay, so that would give them their comfort, okay, because now they have enough food every day to survive. And then the other one is safety. Prey animals are very perceptive to what the predators need and are thinking at all times. Prey animals know that during the winter, the predators have less of a food source, so they become more of a target. Okay, and they also know that the predators need more food to combat the cold and so on. So they actually feel safer when they move to areas that have more food sources for everybody. Because they're no longer the actual target. Sole target, I should say.
It's amazing to me how we've domesticated horses and that their natural instincts are still so alive in them,
Well, you got to realize it's thousands of years of hardwired Mother Nature programming for survival is really what it is. And as well as we do at getting our horses to conform to our world, they still have that uneasiness when all of a sudden the weather changes and they can't move. That's really what takes place. I mean, there's days I'll look out my window and my extremely well-trained horses are just standing in one place, jumping and bucking, and whereas yesterday they were lethargic and so on. So like a cold night will cause that. And anybody that's been around horses and have had the opportunity to observe horses long enough will know exactly what I'm talking about.
Well, I can kind of give a perfect example, because confession here right now, I was a little late this morning because I had a little trouble trailer loading. Now, Cody gets on and off the trailer. He's really pretty good. And this morning, I'm getting him on, and he just was like, I'm not getting on that trailer. His eyes were bulging out of his head. And I'm sitting there going like, what is going on with him? And so I'm like, he knows I'm in a hurry. He knows I'm running late. I got to get to that interview, right? So anyway, so I do the exercises, and then all of a sudden I realized, I said, what's my interview about today?
Right.
It's the change of season. And then that's what happened. He was a little high strung. It took about 15 minutes, but it usually doesn't. He usually gets on pretty quick.
But last week he gets on no problem when the weather's warm. But last night, did you notice there was a chill in the air last night?
Yeah, it was a little chilly.
On the overnight, you get a chill. Next thing you know, the horses, their instincts kick in. And when that happens, you got to realize, even in nature, when they migrate, they change locations. Okay, so when they change locations, they become more aware, and everything around them becomes, they got to check it out. They got to desensitize to the new things in the new areas. So by just the weather change in nature, they would have migrated. They didn't migrate here, but guess what? They still get that
like, whoa, we gotta
something's
check it
up
out.
here, you know, we gotta make a change. And then they also can't change because we have them in our paddocks and our stalls. They can't migrate, so that's another reason why they feel antsy. They feel like they should be doing something different, but they're not.
But they're not. That's what
So
I was
they
going to
become-
say. I was going to say, we have them here, we're not changing, so why? I guess that is a stressor, sure.
Exactly. So it's
Sure.
almost like they have like an instinctive vulnerableness they feel. So now what do? A bag flips over there. They're looking at it. They, you know, anything. Your horse saw your trailer this morning. It was like, even though it's the same trailer he's been in, the season changed a little bit. He's looking at that trailer a little bit differently.
Right.
See?
Sure. Yeah.
So it's the only thing that I've done my research. I've called some of my friends that have been doing this forever, and it's pretty much collaborated. Those are two of the things. I'm sure there's probably more. Even the wind on their skin, especially for clipped horses, might make them a little antsy because now they're colder
Now they're
a little
colder,
bit. So
sure.
some of them stay up all night and pace. So now the next day they're not rested well, and so there's a lot of different things. I think when you're talking about a sensitive animal like horses, that can change when the actual weather does change.
Well, what are some of the things that we can do with our horses to kind of get them through this, and how long does it last?
Well, I tell you, the greatest part about what we do in our training programs is we have those answers because by playing the games and doing what we do, like I don't know if you noticed when you arrived today, we had one of our youngest students.
Yeah.
Her horse was up and jumping around and so on, and we had her out there playing on the ground first, doing the necessary things to get the horse to come back from their instinctive feelings into more of a connected partnership type
look at her.
relationship. Right. So she went from jumping around and bouncing around to what you're seeing behind us right now, which is, you know, just flying like an eagle and playing the games that they love to play together.
Now, what are some of the games? We had the fall challenge we had
Yep,
earlier.
if you refer back to the fall challenge, you'll see that the group, New York Natural Equestrians, they put up the car wash, they had the tarps, they had cross the bridge, they had the pedestal. While they're playing their, you know, circling games, their sideways games, their friendly games where they rub the horse up and down with different things to desensitize the animals. And as long as you do that, the horses come back to you. You know what I mean? But where the mistake sometimes gets made is if you assume that you have the same horse that you had yesterday without playing the games, making sure you're plugged in, making sure you're connected before you put your foot in the stirrup and throw that leg over.
Yeah, it's pretty much it's the same message all the time, pretty much.
Yep.
Really. Do some groundwork before you actually ever get on the horse,
yeah,
whether it's July or make it fun.
Make it
Right.
fun for you, make it fun for the horses. You know, like, for example, the student you saw this morning, she enjoys playing with the horse on the ground, and then she brings him in and reward, and then send him back out again. It's a way of the horse continuing that bond, continuing to know that you care, and then he connects to you as
And I do want to point out too, this young student's 6 years old?
5.
5 years old?
Yeah.
I mean, so it's something that everyone can and should do because it's a great way to have a relationship with your horse.
And enjoy it. That's the key. It's not like, oh, I gotta go. It's go out and enjoy it. Make it fun for you, make it fun for the horses, then go do your dressage. Then go, you know, jump the hunter course. Or whatever
or do your trail.
Whatever, go trail ride, whatever. It's almost like I always say, it's aviation to pilots. You know, once you know how and why the horse ticks and work with it rather than against it, plug into Mother Nature's training, then you can fly in any direction you want. Just like with the aviation people, they fly helicopters, big planes, little planes, but they all got to know aviation.
Right.
It's the same thing. It's the same basic concept. You know how to get your horse connected, then go do anything you want and love it. Love every second of it.
And we do. We certainly do. We try, at least. Well, Tony, thank you so much for joining us. It's always a pleasure to have you on the show.
And I love being here.
Good.
Thank
and
you.
if you want to get a hold of Tony, his email is on the screen. By all means, email him. And if you have any questions or comments about our show, you can email us at talkinghorses@optonline.net. Thanks for watching. See you next time.